Then real quick, let some people pile in. AMD rebounded today. I was kind of glad that happened, so I wasn't going to be all mad. I missed out on a lot of that, but what's up, RB? What's up, Chag? Chris, Charlie, Stickman, KinLab, the Swinger Bowl. Nice. How'd you guys end up today? Any other trades? Yeah. Yeah, man. I need some sort of nickname. It's like, you got like Mad Maverick, BTCJ, Swinging Bull, and then there's just Ethan, but Chag, that's pretty funny. Team Eaton. Are those negative 11% or are those positive? There we go. Love it. I mean, that's freaking great, man. I mean, if your percentages are all the same, or I mean, sorry, position sizes are all the same, 25, 11, 11. That's pretty good. Chag, it's all right. RB, good. We had one little AMD trade. It just the timing of it all wasn't amazing. I feel like I probably could have signaled it a bit early, but AMD is something that could just bounce and chop so much that I'd rather have been a little late on that entry there to try to catch just right at that low a day. And that's kind of right where it chopped, which is typically not what I like to see. But then we kind of got that bear flag and then that continuation. And then, this next move was pretty decent. But, all good. It was an A-plus setup, so I wasn't really looking for much to begin with. And, it is what it is. I'm glad we actually made some money today. I was honestly I was thinking it was probably going to be a cash day, to be honest with you. But when I saw that relative weakness pre-market, that's kind of where I start honing in on stuff, and then NVIDIA, very interesting price action here today. So actually, this is weird. NVIDIA had the most put volume today out of every stock, and SMCI had the most call volume out of every stock. SMCI had a down day, so I don't know if people bought this dip or what. And NVIDIA actually bounced, but NVIDIA has been doing a bunch of kind of like press release stuff with their event. So I don't know. I don't know if I haven't really kept up with it a lot. I mean, I've gotten just so many alerts about different softwares. I know the CEO said that they have some like massive GPU called like Black Label or Black Rock or something like that. I don't know if more on like the supercomputer side of thing, not like a crazy gaming one. I'm talking like, a maybe even $1 million computer type deal. So, but that could help crypto. But how is crypto doing? I think it fall more today. Last I saw 64, 63. So it did fall a little bit here. I knew that bull run was way too extended. That's too bad. Almost a 50% retracement here. That's okay though. That's doable. Well, not doable, but let's just say I was probably needed. So whatever. Yeah, not a crazy day, to be honest with you. Let me get another alert in here. Where is everybody? Well, you guys got any other tickers that you traded or you want me to look at? I don't really have a whole lot for us. These free lessons are more Q&A type stuff. I'll chart a little bit toward the end, talk politics. We can kind of talk whatever. And then Thursday, that's where I'm going to start doing the deep dive stuff on the premium side of things. Thoughts on SPY? Yeah, we can do that. Anyone on X or YouTube or Twitch, you guys can comment as well, and I can see those, so I can answer your questions as well. Okay, so yeah, SPY. Let's check it out. Still ripping here. I mean, honestly, like I talked about, let me just look at the Qs just because I have the trend lines here. So SPY is a little bit closer to its all-time high, but you can see that the Qs are kind of sitting right here on this uptrend we've been riding since December. I'm sure SPY kind of looks the same way. So, we'll see what happens. Hang on, let me turn my volume down. We get a bunch of the other analysts there talking it up. But yeah, so I mean, the SPY to me looks like we bounced again, kind of off the support. I mean, it's not the prettiest looking trend line, to be honest with you, but you get the idea. We've just kind of been riding this, and then on the top side, we're kind of riding one as well. So we're just moving straight up here. This isn't really, this isn't necessarily a pattern by any means, but I mean, guys, at one point, this bottom trend line is going to break. I mean, we can continue to move up. You don't, on an uptrend like this, you're not really looking for a breakthrough of this uptrend. I mean, you're really not going to get a crazy squeeze there unless there's some great news at the end of the week. Remember, I think starting tomorrow and then Thursday and Friday, we have Powell talking Friday. I know that, but there's some sort of discussion on, I think, a VP for the Fed. So he would be under Powell, I believe. I don't know if someone's getting replaced or if they're looking to just, I assume someone's getting replaced. So we'll see. And I don't think they're talking about rates. To me, that would be an FOMC meeting, and we don't have that. So I don't know, but maybe there's going to be some comments on that. So I mean, we could see the market rip, or to me, the better trades look toward the downside. I mean, we have just been grinding high. There hasn't really been any crazy moves on SPY. It's just kind of continued to go higher. We make a new high, we get a pullback for a day or two, grind back up, new high, pullback. It's just happened over and over and over again. But look how aggressive these new highs have been back in here. New high, new high, new high. But look how it's starting to kind of like putter out here. If we start going flat, that's probably going to be where people are going to be like, all right, look, it's maybe time to take a little bit of profit here. Crypto's already rolled over on this bull run. It might be time for the S&P. And honestly, what's carrying this stuff is going to be the chip stocks. I mean, Tesla is the worst performer of the S&P 500 right now. I just saw that statistic today, down 34% for the year, and BA is right behind it at negative 30%. So pretty bad. And SPY is continuing to run. Apple's really not doing anything crazy, and that's going to be the biggest player in the S&P. Microsoft's the other big one, and that's decent up here at all-time highs. And then Google just had some news with Apple as well, and they're close to all-time highs too. So they're kind of carrying SPY. I think a pullback's going to happen at one point, right? It's just you don't want to be that last guy trying to buy longs up here at the top. I think that once we can see this downside kind of break, all these stocks that are way up in the air, people are going to, they want to sell. That's why you see downside moves. They're a lot more violent, meaning they just happen quicker. They're usually bigger moves because no one wants to be that last guy bag holding. People are okay buying into new highs, thinking that things are going to continue higher, but no one wants to be that guy bag holding and letting something really run against them. So that's why you see aggressive moves to the downside. I really do think that if this is given up, I mean, we could easily see 500. I would even think, maybe even 490, maybe even 480 on a real pullback. Probably what we need at one point. I only trade 0DT QQQ, so you can talk about that. Cool, Krubs. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same deal with SPY. We just have this uptrend. I would be watching this really closely. We had a little bit of a bounce day. Sorry. We have a little bit of a bounce day on it here today, but nothing major. So if buyers can kind of hold this 435 level and they get it back above 440, honestly, looking on a even smaller time frame here, you kind of have a bit of a downtrend. And my algo is kind of drawing it for me here, but you get the picture. So it's almost like a little wedge. If this is given up, we fall. If this is given up, then we might push up back up into the mid 440s, then maybe even go up and test 450. 450, a pretty decent round hole number, acts pretty psychological. And, that may be the next target. Who knows? AMD, BA, Meta, and Tesla have been my go-to last few weeks. Really like Tesla right now. Yeah, no, I mean those have been the names I've been watching as well. I really like Tesla down in this area for a long-term buy. Only reason I'm not executing on that idea is simply because the market's way up in the air. So even though I think this is a good spot, if the whole market rolls over, Tesla's not going to have any other option but to continue to fall. So we really could see this pullback and maybe even see sub 150. So I don't want to jump the gun on it. I'd rather be a little bit late and right, like you guys hear me say a lot, than early and just having to deal with just kind of the pain of waiting for that to go back up. One has doors flying off midair, the other one piss off the government. Yeah, I mean 100%. I don't know if you guys saw that interview with Elon, and I think his name's Don Lemon. That was interesting. Elon's a pretty good interviewer. He's so smart, so he kind of almost has to dumb things down for people. But a lot of talk about censorship, and that's going to be a pretty big topic coming into elections. Yeah, it definitely was interesting, sick man. Over here on X, what's that indicator? So this is a personal indicator that I have. I don't think that it's public. I did get this publicly somewhere, but I had some computer science friends kind of mess with this. And I also had quants at the trading floor that I worked at back test it and mess with it as well. So not really something that I can just give away. It's kind of my own little project, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I want to sell it, but yeah, it's just kind of a mix of some code. But and I don't know really anything about coding, so yeah. Fave tech stocks for long-term growth. So, I mean, obviously, NVIDIA is front running everything, right? I mean, the only reason that I would advise people not to be buying up here is simply because we've almost moved 100% in a matter of 2-3 months, right? I think NVIDIA long term is going to be great. I mean, I think crypto is getting that popularity again. I know that MicroStrategy bought like 9,000 Bitcoins this week. MSTR is going to be the ticker, another squeeze name. So MicroStrategy, SMCI, NVIDIA, all going to be great. I do think, AMD has a chance, but AMD to me, I almost want to put like, NVIDIA, SMCI, and maybe even MicroStrategy, like top three. And then the bottom two to me are Micron and Intel. Those are like almost like the grandparents of this stuff, and they have just not caught up technologically with these other names, right? NVIDIA, SMCI, and the stock price is showing you that. And then I would put AMD kind of right in the middle. They're above Micron and Intel, just technology wise, but they're not as good as NVIDIA, SMCI, and stuff like that. Again, SMCI is really not a company that's been around for that long, at least not been very popular. I don't know the details on really kind of what's been going on, other than I know that they've squeezed insanely hard here from about 200 up to 1,200. But obviously, it's something good. It's something with the chips. I mean, it's going to rival NVIDIA. I have heard that. So back to your question, long term, I think these are going to be good. But do I want to be buying all the way up here? I don't think so. I want to see the whole market come down. To me, none of this makes sense. And the reason I say that is because look around at what's going on in our world, and then look what's going on in the stock market. I mean, inflation is through the roof, credit card debt's through the roof, housing prices are through the roof, wages really haven't caught up with it at all. Without getting political, our president is something else. We have 2 wars going on that are almost kind of out of the news right now. Like Porterhouse just said, it's just euphoria. To me, it just doesn't make sense. And I advise everyone to be very careful. Yes, we could continue to go higher in the short term, but if you want to get good long-term spots on this stuff, I would wait for the market to pull back, a good little chunk. I mean, I don't want to say like a 10% move on SPY, but that to me is doable. I don't know how this stuff is going to work. I do think that coming into elections, maybe people start pulling out of the market. But I could also argue the opposite way, that maybe people are hopeful that, if Trump does get elected, maybe the market goes higher because, he did good. The market was making all time high after all time high with him for good reasons. And then COVID came in, right? Really dropped the market. Stimulus checks and the printing of the US dollar came in, which just pumped the market up, almost just kind of inflated it for no reason, right? And then we kind of had that bear market. And right, just like Porterhouse is saying, when they print money, the money is just going to go into the markets to kind of have some more value. And I think that's another reason why crypto is doing good. People are just like, screw it, man. Like, let's just throw money into something that actually has some value, because our dollar is going down so hard. I think it's DXY, or is that, yeah, DXY. This may not pull up here. I think I hear a hot mic. But yeah, so I mean, to me, from a long-term stance, and again, I mean, I haven't been around for that long, but to me, the stuff just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So I would look for some sort of decent pullback in the markets, and then that's, to me, where I would look for a long-term buy. And honestly, back on SPY, I thought we were gonna. Oh, I just typed SPY in there. I thought that we would see a real drop on SPY during this bear market. This was kind of a choppy move down, and I was looking at charts of. I got delayed data. Can y'all hear me still? Anyone on Discord? Okay, cool. So I don't know why my Thinkorswim. Maybe there we go. It's back on. Okay, cool. We looked almost identical to 2008. Market was way up here in the air. We had this kind of chop move down, and then this is kind of where people are expecting that really violent sell-off. Again, it's not the same circumstances as 2008, but inflation looked almost the same. Debt was the same. Housing prices, I think, were just going up. Like, I don't know. There was some other fundamentals that were the same. Charts were the same. Kind of everything was lining up, and we really didn't see that drop. And then once the market kind of started making its way back up here, a lot more money printing to deal with rates. And then once that market kind of got that move higher, now we're just ripping, and it just hasn't stopped. So I don't know. I know I'm kind of ranting on this stuff, but I want you guys to look at a macro level at really what's going on. And this is how, and I'm going to talk about this in my lesson on Thursday. So for you guys in the day trader corner, I hope you guys are there. But this is how they want retail guys to get into the markets, right? How many people were talking about crypto when Bitcoin hit its last all-time high, right? Like 3 years ago. I mean, I know that even I had family and friends come to me, like, Ethan, do I need to buy crypto? Do I need to buy crypto? And I'm like, guys, please don't buy it. We were at like 60K. I'm like, this looks like where probably a top's going to be put in. And then, a year and a half later, we're down at, 15, 20K. So when things are ripping to all-time highs, that's when retail people who don't, or even just everyday people who don't really know much about the stock market, they're going to hear about it more in the news, and that's where they're going to be buying. Well, that's where the institutions with billions of dollars need liquidity. They need people to buy their stocks from them because they need to sell. And your average everyday dude doesn't have a billion or hundreds of billions of dollars to buy the stock from them. So they want all the minnows in the pond to come and provide that liquidity for them to sell off their stock at highs. It's all psychological. It's just how things work. So way up here at all-time highs, and it's interesting. You guys are asking like long-term plays. This is not when you want to be buying. You want to be buying in bad market conditions like this. You want to be buying on those massive bad times in our economy, like things like COVID, when you get that crazy pullback, stuff like that. And those are going to happen again. So it's, for anyone that's new, it's good to learn this stuff, because later on in your life, you're going to deal with, maybe another pandemic. maybe a war, maybe, whatever. I know that on the trading floor, my boss has leap spy puts on at all times. And when expiration comes, he just rolls them, meaning he doesn't realize the loss. He just buys the next year out. Um, for things like 9/11, for things like COVID, because when that massive crash comes, well, he's already positioned, and he's going to be positioned probably at highs of the market, because when that does come and that crazy drop happens, well, that's when he's going to really cash out, right? So just keep that in mind. There's always, we're in, like Porter said, we're in just like euphoric times right now. So I know there's a bit of a rant, but I just want to make that clear to everyone from a psychological perspective there. Oh, sorry, RB, I missed that. Let me see what Cub said. Good with trades UTE so much. I'm usually in the 1 minute chart and need to step back so I don't zoom out. So, I mean, I would zoom out when you're charting to find your levels, find your trade idea. And, just like me, then you kind of zone in on a 1 to 5 minute chart and look for your entries. Let's see here. Tech stocks. Yeah, I mean, technology is going to be an ever-changing game, and it's never going to go away now. So, and I saw some stuff about, like, is this the next .com bubble? Right? When .com came out, and all these technology stocks were ripping way, way, way above their valuation prices. You started seeing guys on CNBC say, some of these companies are priced 4 times higher than what they should be, and then the bubble popped and the market crashed. So think about AI right now. Think about chip stocks right now. Yeah, they're great. And yeah, I mean, they're cutting edge stuff and it's really good right now. But NVIDIA being priced more than Google, does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see. How do you see those walls you were talking about today? So you can see them on probably any trading platform. I will say that there's probably every platform will give them to you for free. But you're not going to be able to see all the market data. So typically, like for me, I don't look at my level 2 here, and I can pull it up for you guys. So if you look down here, you'll see the bid side. So, for SPY, for example, at 515.43, there's 8 shares waiting to be bought on the bid. On 515.44, there's 1 share looking to get sold at on the ask, right? So, and again, that's free. So you don't get to actually see the market depth. So on Interactive Brokers, I think in my free live stream, let me scroll up here real quick and find that screenshot I sent in today. Oh, wow. There's a lot here. 1 second. Let's see, 919. I probably took that trade when around 8, probably closer to 9. Here we go. Copy image. So for you guys in Discord, here you go. So this is what I'm looking at. And this is the same thing I just showed you, but I pay for this. So I can see a lot more of the data than you guys can on the free side. So right here, AMD, I'm looking for the downside. So I'm going to be looking on the bid. And I want to see a bunch of orders stacked up at those whole number levels. And this is why I talk about these whole numbers, these psychological numbers, because at 181, you might see 5,000 shares waiting there. But at 180, that whole round number, I mean, right there, what is that? 70,000 ish, 60,000, 62. I think it got up to about 80,000. But the reason that I look for that stuff is because when I'm looking for that downside trade, and that's why I was waiting for that 180 break, that's exactly why we saw this very fast candle go right through 180. And look at the volume. So look at this volume stick. It was the second highest of the day. The opening candle is always going to have the highest, typically, just because that's when a lot of money is getting washed around right on the open. That's what liquidity is for guys with hundreds of millions of dollars, not billions. But on this candle here, like I said, second highest of the day, I look for that wall because I know that's where there's going to be an inflection point, and that's where a lot of money is going to be traded. There's going to be a lot of transactions, a lot of shares getting washed around. And think about on a downside move, when I'm looking at the bid, what does that mean? Well, that means that there's demand there. And if the supply, meaning supply, I think always demand is buying, supply is selling. AMD is weak. We're coming into 180. When a stock is weak, that means there's a lot of people selling the stock. That means there's going to be a lot of supply. So if we can come down to that demand sitting at this 180 level, and we have enough supply to take it out, well, once all that demand is kind of blown out the window, well, what's left? Well, supply is left, selling is left, short sellers are there. So that's why you see that quick. Once all those orders get filled, boom, you see that quick drop down, and those are the scalps that I'm looking for. I want to position myself before that level. I want to see price come into that level. Boom, you'll see it kind of come down, like 5 cents away, 2 cents away, 1 cent away. It'll kind of sit there. You'll see the bid hit 180. All those orders get hit. You'll see times and sales over here on the right, which is black right now, just because there's obviously no trading going on. And then you'll see that quick slip down. Boom. That's why I traded the 180 puts, because I was out of the money above 180. And then boom, we get our quick breakthrough premium flip when they go from out the money to in the money. So you pick up maybe an extra 5-10 cents on that drop through that number. And we get out. Simple as that. Does that make sense, RB? And then, vice versa. When I'm looking for the upside, that means there's a lot of supply here. If there's a lot of buying pressure, that means there's a lot of demand. So you can take out that supply, and then you get your pop right through. So hope that was good. Do you trade on TOS or IBKR? So I use TOS charts. I love their charts. I know the platform really well. I did trade on TOS for probably 2 years. And then I wanted better level 2. There's a couple other tools that I use, like a buy limit button, a slippage button. That's just a whole nother topic to go over. But and I'll probably do that tomorrow as well when I go over market orders and limit orders. On Thursday, I'll go over that stuff for the premium lesson. But so I execute, meaning I do my buying and selling on IBKR, but I use the Thinkorswim charts because I think that they're beautiful, and the IBKR charts are pretty bad. They're just ugly. They don't look very good. The drawing tools and just using them all, and I can't really put this algo on them. So, yeah. Did you enter the AMD trade at 180 or when it broke 180? So I always want to enter before. And the reason I do that is simply because, let me just chart out this 180 level here so you can see why. I always want to get in before. And, I signaled the trade here at this low a day thinking that we would see a nice slip through. So this is what I wanted to see. And NVIDIA made the move. So look at this. This is what I wanted to see. We had the low a day here on NVIDIA. We had our pop up to a resistance. We rejected just like AMD did, came down hard. This is why I entered around right before this low a day, because I wanted to see a breakthrough, and then 180 would have been about right here on AMD. So I wanted to see a breakthrough and a beautiful continuation right to that level, and then we get out. We just didn't get that. What happened was the market started bouncing a little bit, and NVIDIA just had some extra weakness on its own. So let me delete these real quick. So you'll look on AMD here. And we kind of came in here and broke this low a day, then started chopping around a little bit. So I probably could have stuck to my stop loss at 182, but, it just didn't happen cleanly. We did take a little bit of profits here. And I think I sold like the last 10, 20% of my position around here at a break-even stop loss, which is fine with me, because looking at AMD, this is what I was worried about. Just something that kind of chops a little bit, gets going, and then anyone who's trying to short it is now stuck. So they have to stop out, and you kind of get a little squeeze like this. So I just wanted to be cautious. We all made some money. And then it ended up, once it kind of broke this flag here, I did take this little scalp. And I think a couple of you guys did as well. But once it broke this kind of bear flag that we got going here, I knew that was probably time. Once I saw these top side wicks up in here, meaning that price popped up and then sellers pushed it right back down. And we broke this little uptrend we had here. That's when we got that slip. And then I sold kind of right on this candle here on the 180 break. So to answer your question, Onrod, no, I never want to enter after the break. If I do, it's going to be a break and retest type trade. So if a stock is, let's say that, for example, here, I wanted to trade the upside here on AMD at 185. So this white line here. and we, you guys know me. I want to see a move opposite and then a breakthrough high a day. So let's just say that this was like way too far. The only time that I'm going to be entering after a break is if we see a move up and then a move back down into that resistance level. You see buyers kind of hold it for a second. To me, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. I would be trying to buy in here, and then I want to see a move back higher. This is a break and retest. So we break the resistance or break the support, come back into that level. You see whichever side hold it either above or below the level that I want. And then that's what I'm looking to buy because I know that buyers are strong enough to hold it there. And then you get your move. So I hope that made sense. But gotta go. All right, Krubs, later, bro. But yeah, so for a downside move today, we didn't really get our break and retest here on this at all. But if this would have broke down in here, come up into 180, kind of sit here, and start rolling back over, maybe there's another trade there for us. What about fake outs? How can you spot them? So the easiest way to spot a fake out is low volume. If like here, if AMD was really strong, you would have seen one. So okay, let me just back up real quick. The first thing you want to look for something that could possibly fake out is a break through your level and then price wicks back under it or wicks back above it if you're playing downside and then close under. So this would be considered a fake out. AMD broke 185 and then got rejected and then closed under. And that's one way to spot a fake out. Secondly, low volume. So look at this candle here. If this candle had as much volume as this one, we probably could have got some continuation on it. But we had some low volume on that candle that broke through, meaning there just wasn't as much money flowing into this, not a lot of buying pressure, and it just didn't have enough juice to continue. So if I am looking for a breakout and it breaks through, closes above, and there's high volume, those are the two biggest things that I'm looking for something to continue. Right. So if I get that, I'm 100% going to be holding. I may take some profit off, whatever, but I'm not selling the whole position. Those are the two biggest criteria for me to hold that and look for a move higher, because that's going to be the first sign of continuation. And then, vice versa. If I see a break, it doesn't really hold above, comes back under, there's not a lot of volume. I know that, well, okay, what does volume mean? Volume just means transactions. Volume means money flowing in and out of this. We're minnows in this game, guys. We're nothing. We're not even crumbs. I mean, we are just nothing compared to this. It takes millions and millions and millions of dollars to move a stock. So if I get in a move and it breaks through or whatever and doesn't move that much and there's low volume, well, that means that I'm in a very small group of people and a small group of money that's trying to look for the same move as I am. So when there's high volume, well, then it's vice versa. That means that there is a lot of people looking at this. There is a lot of money getting involved in this trade, kind of looking for the same move. And that's going to confirm that I'm looking at the right thing and the stock should do its thing, right? I know that was a lot, but I just, I want to hit all the bases when you guys ask me questions. Got some more people in here on X, Twitch, and YouTube. You guys can comment, and I can see your questions, and I can answer them. Volume is by far the most important indicator. I could trade a chart that is transparent, well, meaning if every candle was the same color, I could trade the chart just by looking at volume. Volume is by far the most important, and the only other indicator that I use is going to be VWAP, which, I think is good at times. I used to not use it, but I kind of grew to like it. And VWAP has a top VWAP, a bottom VWAP, and a middle VWAP. I don't use top or bottom, but I do use the middle VWAP. Look at Porter showing off Pookie. Pookie's been MIA. I haven't really heard from him in a little bit. What else you guys got for me? These are good questions. I like it. Keep them coming. Yeah, I mean, VWAP means volume weighted average price. So that yellow line is the average price relative to the volume that we're seeing from a buy and sell standpoint. Well, Stocks Buddy's freaking good too, but someone won't give me access to it. So I might have to get in a yelling match with Pookie. I'm kidding. I need to ask him for it. No, I mean, I probably have to put it on TradingView. I don't know that I could put it on Thinkorswim. I don't really know how you implement it, but I need to know more about it because I will talk about it and compare it. But no, I mean, Stocks Buddy is pretty much the same thing you guys are looking at on my screen. I mean, it's good, and it actually even shows you stop losses and targets. So um, I may actually switch to that. And for anyone listening on the other platform, Stocks Buddy is basically an indicator, like I said, that looks very similar to the one I'm using here with the arrows and the buy and sell signals um, that we offer here at Penny Boys. Who changed out? Right. Yeah, Chris. I mean, that's it. That's the name of the game, and I'm so glad you noticed that. It's because I mean, there are times when I can catch a 50 or 100% trade, and there's plenty of times where I get out early and a trade does go 50 or 100%, but it's just not really what I'm looking for. I much rather show up every day, boom, boom, get my base hits and move on. And then as long as you keep those losses small, I mean, you're winning. That's all you got to do. Um, there's no reason to have 50, 60, 70% losses if you're only looking to make 10, 15, 20%. So you got to keep it pretty even. And that's a big reason why I do take starter positions because I can then add into it. And then catch that bigger percentage once the trade's already going in my favor. It's much better to add to a winning trade rather than add to a losing trade. Yes, just base hits, guys. That's all you need. A home run will come here and there, but base hits are all you need in this game, especially from a scalping day trading standpoint. Yes, there's gonna be those crazy days. There's gonna be times like that. But if you're showing up here looking for 5, 10, 15% gains and then giving back 25, 30, 40, 50% losses, it just doesn't make sense. So as long as your losses are kept very tight, then just show up and catch your base hits because I promise you guys, my win rate is extremely high. But when those losses come around, and especially early on in my career, I would boom. I'd be on. I mean, there was a time where I was green every single day for a month, and then on the very last day of the month, I almost gave a huge chunk of it back because there was a trade that wasn't working out, and I kind of added to it a little bit too much. And then I had to sell half for a loss. Then it started actually got some news came out, and that's why I had to do that. And then the market kept going in the same direction. I got to add back into that trade more to that position, and then everything worked out fine. But just look for those base hits. I promise you, even just taking profit, you guys see me take profit a lot kind of early on in the move just to lock some in because then I can keep my stop loss where it is or even move it to break even. Well, and then you got a green trade regardless, right? Do you use fibs? Why or why not? I don't use fibs. I know how they work. I just never use them, to be honest with you. I know people that use them. I think that, they make sense, but for my style of trading, it really doesn't. For swing trading, for maybe even penny stock trading, when you get those really crazy volatile moves, that they make sense at times. But with any indicator that you guys are going to use, you have to back test it. You have to figure out where it works, how it works, what setups it works on, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, no, unfortunately, I don't use fibs. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for me. I rather sit there and read the price action like a book and look at volume, look at times and sales, look at the overall market. And another thing on that, there are people who trade Qs and SPY, right? There's people that trade futures. Nothing against it. If it works for you, it works for you. But I rather use SPY in the Qs as just an extra confirmation, extra indicator that the whole basket that my one stock is in is moving in that direction. Rather than just trading the whole basket, I want to see that most every stock within the S&P or the Nasdaq is moving in my favor, so I know that odds are a lot more in my favor that my stock is going to move that way as well. Am I live trading tomorrow? I am not. I'll be probably hopped in the chats. If you guys need to hop on voice with me or ask a question during the morning, more than happy to hop in that group session, voice channel. Do you have heat map up when you trade? No. I do think heat map is good, but heat map is basically just level 2. I look at level 2 and I look for walls. I know, there's a guy named Umar Ashraf. He uses heat map now a lot. He's probably doing it about a year. I've followed him for a really long time. But no, I mean, heat map is good, but it's just a visual of level 2. So, and level 2 moves really fast. I mean, it's really moving up and down. It's just kind of just numbers and stuff. So it's kind of hard to watch. So visually, I think it's good, but all it is level 2. You're just seeing where the bulk of orders are at different prices. So yeah, Umar is great, Chris. He's really good. I learned a lot from him early on. For anyone that doesn't know who he is, you should probably look him up. He's got a great YouTube channel. Just good education stuff. It's weird. I don't know if him and his brother don't like each other or aren't close anymore or what, but his brother Usman Ashraf has an options trading Discord, and Umar Ashraf has the TradeZella software. I think he used to have a Discord, but I mean, I haven't seen it in probably 2 years. So very interesting. But they trade SPX and stuff, guys, and that's just, I'd rather go to a casino, to be honest with you. I haven't seen many gains recently from them at all. So something Umar did, though, he did post this, I think yesterday or the day before. He had a really nice short on BA. I think he was shorting up in this consolidation, I think like 40,000 shares. So a pretty good chunk of change, almost $1 million. And he's caught a lot of this move, but he did say he's probably going to start getting out of most of that position here, which makes sense. And it's the same idea I had. I mean, 180 to me was the target there, and now look what price is doing. We got a really quick move down, and now we're just kind of stalling out here. If we get some more bad news on Boeing, which is very, very possible, under 180, you have a low here at 176, so call it 175. Break through this low, break through 175, price holds under, you could see a move lower. Any trade ideas for tomorrow? What time is it? 8:43. Yeah, so I will get into that. Give me 1 second here. Let me see. Give me 1 second here. If there's any other questions, you guys can ask real quick while I get this set up. Okay, so trade ideas. Let's take a look here. So BA, probably not that interested unless we get under 180. So let me set an alert here. Probably about 179.25. Sounds good to me. Tesla, what do we do here today? A little pullback, pretty good buy up here on the daily chart. Why is this not working? There we go. Really nothing here. I mean, an upside trade to me just doesn't make a whole lot of sense just because we do have this chop zone that I just don't want to be trading in, right? I mean, I don't want to trade up and chop because that could just act as supply and then we roll back over. And, with that macro idea I'm talking about, if the whole market rolls, Tesla's just not going to have enough steam until there's some very, substantial good news on this. So it'll come at one point. We just don't know when. So that's why I'm telling you guys that down here in this area, to me, makes good sense long term. Would you look for puts? I don't know, RB. It's just, things do change overnight. So I kind of chart briefly at night when I'm with you guys, but if I'm not doing a stream, I don't even chart at night. There's just too many times when I have these like crazy game plans set up at nighttime. I wake up and there's news in the market and everything's all screwed up and I got to come up with a trade idea. So just why bother? But yeah, I'll definitely look into this stuff. So I already went over BA. Amazon was one of the stronger names today. Really just kind of chopping around up here. I mean, I would probably look for an all-time high trade if we get there in a couple of days. Nothing too special. But look, something you guys notice I do a lot is put alerts on. There's random stocks that I probably won't. Sometimes I don't even look at for a year or two. And then that's weird. I get an alert from it. Boom, check it out. And then it's in my rotation on my watch list. And maybe I catch a trade on it. I know we have FedEx earnings coming up here. This doesn't look bad for a move higher. But once again, let's think macro here. FedEx, UPS, what happened last quarter? Holiday season, probably a lot of trucks delivering stuff. Might have good news, right? FedEx, something that I have traded before a couple times, but nothing that I look at on a day-to-day basis. Let's see what else here. NVIDIA, they're still doing their conference all week. So, I mean, I don't know. I think contracts are still probably pretty expensive. IV 65%, so they have come down a little bit, but I just don't really want to be signaling this expensive contracts to you guys. I may trade it. I would talk to you guys through it if I did take it. Again, I'm not going to just blow you guys off and be trading like random names on the side without talking about it. So, NVIDIA, I mean, honestly, what does this look like to y'all? I hope you guys see this without me even saying it, but I mean, it's almost like it's not the prettiest wedge in the world, but just think about the principles of wedges. One side, if we break up in here, shorts are going to be underwater and they're going to have to get stopped out and you get a squeeze. Under here, buyers are going to be underwater, then they're going to have to stop out and you're going to get a sell-off. So again, it's not the most perfect pattern ever, but the principles are still there. So probably just going to wait around for NVIDIA, maybe later on in the week when their conference is slowing down. Right, coin toss. So that's why there's not a reason to pick a side. If you want to play 50-50 games, go do freaking roulette or something. That's just not what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for the move to start, and then I'll look to come in and catch a little piece of it. What else? Don't predict, react. Exactly. AMD, if this does stay weak, maybe and want to get interested. But honestly, guys, once again, looking back, what are we falling into? Huge chop zone, demand zone, and there's honestly even a smaller one up in here. So do I want to get involved in this now? No. I thought that maybe we break under 185. You got kind of 182, 183, whatever, break through, and we cut a little trade today. Not a plus whatsoever. What else has been in the news here? What's ARM doing? Still nothing. Meta was strong today. I need Meta to kind of get out of this area here. If we can get through this, then maybe I'll be interested. But again, to me, it's more of an all-time high play. Microsoft doesn't look bad. If we can get maybe a little gap up in here, maybe look for a move up into this all-time high. I do think that, so let's just look big time frame here. And I missed this trade because I was traveling last week, but this was one of the best ones on my watch here. It's just a break of consolidation. We broke through and then failed. Volume wasn't that high. We had more volume on the pullback day. So if we can creep back up here, it's just squeeze territory, right? It's just there's no levels above all-time high that anyone trying to short this stock has. So if anyone's sitting short, they're probably going to get pushed over, stop out, get our squeeze. So probably going to be looking for a move, see how it reacts at 425, maybe look for a break and retest at 425, get in on the retest, buyers push it through high a day. We then have all-time high at 427.82, break through that, and then I would be looking for that whole number of 430 for that break. Just like AMD today, right? I want to try to make a position at those, not as clear numbers, right? Like 181, 180, 150, whatever. and then look for a move to those whole numbers because there's a wall there. Why is there a wall? Well, there's going to be liquidity there, meaning that guys with a lot of money can get filled. And that's going to be where the volume comes in. That's going to be where the action comes in. So if I can create a good position before that with the strong market, all my boxes are checked, whatever, we can get the move to that level, and then we can move higher. Apple, let's look. I don't think it's in a very good area right now. This was another great trade idea I had. Break under 180, look for 175, 170, and that literally was just perfect. I wish I made more money on that. It's probably one I should have swung to the downside, but it just happened a little faster than I thought it would, considering the name. But RB, really nothing there for me. I mean, maybe this wants to make a move back up to 180, but again, what are we trading in? Right? All this chop over here. And something else. So, the reason I talk about this, guys, is I can see this just because I know what's going on over here. But a great indicator for anyone that's on Thinkorswim is going to be volume profile. Where is it? Man, I can't stop coughing. Oh, I didn't add it. That's why. Duh. So I want to be trading with this low volume because that's when you're going to get the faster moves. It's where price really hasn't chopped around much. And we're sitting in the middle of high volume area. So this is just kind of a visual indicator you guys can use. Volume profile. One more time so you guys know. And yeah, but I know that this is what it would look like without that being on because I can see how long the price bounced around this area. When you get down in these areas, price hasn't spent that much time in it. And that's where you're going to see those quicker, cleaner, faster moves. So pretty good. So yeah, nothing really A plus. So I don't know. Microsoft tomorrow, maybe look at AMD again, probably not. But I'll look at here, yeah. Richard on YouTube, you're totally right. We have all this Fed stuff coming out today. So let me look it up really quickly. So I have the exact times and everything for you guys for the next few days. For anyone that wants to look it up on their own, I use Econo Day US calendar. So tomorrow we have FOMC announcement 2 p.m. So they may actually talk about the a rate hike, or I doubt they hike it, but maybe. Honestly, if they go neutral, market probably goes flat or sells off. If they cut rates, I would think we're going to probably see a bounce in the market. And then Fed chair press conference. So Powell's going to be talking a little bit there, and just some other people in the Fed. And then Thursday, we have just kind of the normal stuff, jobless claims, existing home sales, PMI, all that, whatever. And then we do have Jerome Powell, 9 a.m. Eastern pre-market on Friday. So a lot of news is going to be coming in the next few days. Probably a reason why the market's just kind of been a bit slow. Oh, what's up, Latvian? Cool. Okay, you're on YouTube. So yeah, I mean, again, you guys need to keep up with the news, and that's going to be one of the topics that I go over to give you guys, well, at least in the day trader corner, on all the services and stuff that I use that are free and all that, whatever. RB, take care, man. Have a good night. Yeah, we're about to wrap up here in a few minutes. Let's see, what was I talking about here? Yeah, so you guys need to be up to date on news because a big reason I've been pretty sidelined. I mean, I was surprised I even took a trade today, like I said early on in the stream, simply because we do have a lot of news coming out the rest of the week. So that's going to bring volatility. If you think about it from this standpoint, people are probably going to be pretty standoffish until that news comes out. They may even take a little bit of money out of the markets before the news comes out, unless they know, you know? So just you need to think about it that way. A lot of news brings volatility, brings big moves. When there's no news, or at least a few days before big news comes out, probably going to see slower movements. So you probably want to be a little bit more on the sidelines, maybe size down a little bit, look for those little tiny base hits. And then when the market's hot, a lot of money's moving around, a lot of action, that's when you can come in and execute some good trades. But we got about 5 more minutes here until my time is up. So if there's any last minute questions, again, anyone on X, Twitch, or YouTube, ask away. If not, then we can wrap things up. But fire away. I got 5 more minutes here. Is a hot dog a sandwich? It's between 2 pieces of bread, so probably I would think so. But I almost want to give hot dog a little bit more credit than just being a sandwich, Conor McGregor confirms his UFC return. I don't see any dates here. Well, not seeing anything from you guys, so if there's no questions, no tickers, no anything, then let's get out of here. It's late. Chris. Well, all right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up then. Thanks for coming. This was a good one. Really, really good questions, guys. Thank you. That makes things easier. For you premium guys, Thursday's going to be good. I'm really excited to start really deep diving into stuff with y'all. Just because I know at times that it's tough to even know what to ask. And I hope that you aren't embarrassed or scared to ask something stupid, because believe me, someone else probably has the same question. So, all right. Well, guys, you all have a good night. Again, I'll see you in the morning. I will be in the chats. You guys in the day trader corner, I might pop in a voice a little bit. We'll see what happens. So be careful tomorrow. We got a lot of news coming up, probably some big moves in the market. So let's make some money. All right, guys. Good night.